Welcome, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another one of our Ivey MBA Admissions Series podcasts. I'm Lindsay Littman. I'm the director of our full-time MBA recruitment and admissions team. Today, I'm here with two of our great MBA students, Divya and Aakriti, here to share with us their decision and why they chose Ivey, specifically coming from India to Canada. And I wanted to have this as a topic today because there has been some challenges with our two countries getting along politically the last, year or two. And I do understand that that can be a genuine concern from those living in India and deciding whether or not Canada is still the right place to pursue their MBA. So obviously you went through some of that turmoil and maybe concerns through your decision. So I think as opposed to me just telling individuals, yes, it's great to still come to Canada, it's better to hear from those who actually made that choice themselves and maybe overcame some of those concerns. So welcome, Aakriti, Divya. Nice to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Lindsay.
Hard to believe you graduate in 2 months. So we're going to leverage your experience while you're here on campus.
Yeah. It's unreal, but yeah, time flies.
It's crazy, right? The year can go by really, really quickly. Maybe before we get into the nitty gritty of today's topic, you can do just a brief introduction. Tell us where you were from within India, your background, and why it is you did just choose Ivey and even Canada for your MBA.
Perfect.
Should I start first?
You're so polite. I love this. Yes, please, Divya, go right ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Divya Nair. I am a chartered accountant from Mumbai. I was a consultant in KPMG for the past 5 years. I advised financial sector clients on various projects, and post which I worked as an internal consultant for a bank, and there I was involved in various strategy projects. And the reason why I chose Ivey is because it's like a one-year program. So it's like you can easily transition yourself into the job market. It doesn't take much of your time. And second is also that I found the case-based approach as an interesting thing and a USP of Ivey. So that's what draws me here.
Oh, good. Well, nice to have you here. I remember we met in Mumbai at the St. Regis Hotel lobby and getting you all
that
excited.
Was a really good conversation that we had.
It was, yes.
And it was raining so badly.
It was awful. It was like torrential downpour. And you were explaining, much more about how I had no idea how much rain Mumbai could get. And I think that was late September, and it was just I've never seen that much rain. So I appreciate you making even more effort to come to see me, given how much rain was on the streets.
No, it was a nice conversation.
Yeah, it was
also,
really nice, yes. Aakriti.
Yes, we didn't have a chance to meet, sadly, but I'm glad I met you here.
Yes.
So hi, everybody. I'm Aakriti. I am from New Delhi. I did my undergrad there, and then I was working there for the past 6 years. I have a background in marketing and business development. So basically, I was working on projects to help accelerate the sales buyer journey, and I was mostly involved in channel marketing, so email, social, paid media, pretty much you say it, we've done it. So I was at Gartner, and before that I was at a valuation company called Duff & Phelps. So most of my experience had been in the B2B space, and as much as I love it, as a marketer, I found that kind of challenging because I feel if you're in a B2C environment, it's more dynamic, it's more fun, and I associate myself more towards the creative side. Okay. So that's when I realized, okay, let me take a step back, let me think what are my career options, and that's when I started digging more into the MBA program thing. I just stumbled upon Ivey through a friend of mine who had heard about Ivey and was thinking of applying. And I was like, you know what, this is too good for me. I don't think I had that GMAT score to get it there. And I kind of was underscoring myself. But then I remember I spoke to somebody in the program's team, and they were like, you have a good profile, you should give it a try. Mm-hmm. And the rest is history. Here I am. So similar to Divya, I think what really excited me about Ivey was the case-based style of teaching. I know only Harvard did that. Mm-hmm. And coming from India, the way the Indian academic education system is, it's not very practical, at least in the courses that I did. So it was a really new experience for me to actually do the simulation exercises, have those group learning exercises, and be just more involved. So that really attracted me about the program, and I am not disappointed on that.
Good, I was going to say, and it's going well so far. I mean, you have 2 months left, and you still look pretty happy. So I think you've been enjoying it. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, lovely to have you both here today and to share more about the concerns you might have had, how it's been going while you've lived in Canada, how you felt in terms of safety, support, and then of course maybe we'll wrap up today's conversation with some advice for those, especially residing in India, if there are some concerns about joining us, some things you'd want to give to them, or even if you reflect yourself, if you were to join us next year, given the political climate, what would be some things you would do to help make sure you felt this was the right decision? So let's maybe start with looking when you're back to the MBA buying stage, and Canada came on the kind of preview for you in terms of whether it's Ivey or in general. There were some concerns going between our two countries. We weren't on the best of terms. Mm-hmm. How did that impact your decision? How did you approach it? Was any of your family members concerned? Maybe you can each chime into how you dealt with that part of the, buying the MBA and the Canada part where we weren't quite that friendly.
Sure, I can start. I remember, as you mentioned, the political climate wasn't at its best term. And my mom was actually in the US at that time, and I was leaving India. So she was more scared because we're a family of overthinkers and we're not proud of it. But she was really scared. But I had some relatives here. And then when I spoke to them, they were like, you can't go with everything that the media is showing, because at times it's just the extreme ends that you're seeing and not the actual situation. Sure, things were bad, but they weren't as bad. And then I remember even we had an India group on WhatsApp before coming here. I reached out to some of the other people, and they also had similar apprehensions, but everybody was certain that it can't be this bad, and it wasn't that bad. So yes, we were scared, but I feel before going to any new country, whether it be the US or the UK, you will be scared because it's outside your comfort zone. Sure. So it's good to be well-read, but again, take everything with a pinch of salt, whatever you see on the media, because at times they do over-exaggerate situations. Yes. So that is what I felt at my case. Okay. Yeah.
No, I would completely agree on Aakriti on this point. So the media was kind of blowing out the news. And then I have my brother, so he was already in Canada and he did an Ivey MBA too. You know him. So yes. I just had a conversation with him, is this all true, whether all these things are happening, whether there is discrimination and all. And then he was I don't think any such thing is happening, and it's more like a political agenda. Yeah. So just to come to the point, whenever you're shifting to a new country, it's you need to do research, you need to connect with people over there to understand the political situation and then come up with a decision. That's what I think it is.
So I like that you both mentioned doing the research inside, in terms of figuring out the right decision. I think the challenge when we say doing research, many think you go to the media to do research. But I saw firsthand, I was in India in September of 2024 and, watching the news there. And you're right, it was much more, I don't say exaggerated necessarily, but a lot more of a negative perception of being a student in Canada. And I live in the city here. I see it. I didn't see it firsthand. I asked colleagues from different universities. They didn't see it. So I think when we say do the research, would you suggest talking to people like yourself, alumni who've gone through the program, who live in Canada, versus relying on media that's not in that country you're looking to move to, such as Canada? So don't rely on Indian media, rely more on Canadian media.
I would say talk to the people, because in general, I'm I have this bias towards media, because both the medias do extreme at times, the situation. So I would say just talk to the people there and in that particular university. So me talking to people at Ivey or in Toronto also for that matter was more helpful than just listening to any of the media.
Right. So those who live the experience, who are in that country. So alumni like you. So listeners can know to reach out to either of you if they have further concerns from today's conversation.
You can feel,
right. Perfect. Yeah. And then when you've lived here now for over a year, you would have moved here last February. We're recording this in February 2025. So you've been here for about a good year now. How has your experience been in the country? Have you felt safe, supported? Did you feel ostracized? How has it been going for you?
One thing about one thing I really it surprised me when I came here is that people are really polite. And I'm not trying to stereotype over here, but whenever
we're used to hearing that, I guess. Yes.
No, strangers, they open doors for you, or when you're just getting off from your bus stop, you say a thank you. And was something which was very new for me, because in India we kind of not do that, though we are thankful for the person, but we don't usually do that. So that was kind of, which was very like surprising for me when I came over here. In terms of culture, I don't feel like it's more of an inclusive culture over here. And I've always felt welcomed. So yeah, the professors and the students and the classmates, everyone has been supportive till.
So the research you did, and you're having your brother CJ go through this, obviously very helpful as well, that was equal to your experience here. It wasn't like, oh no, this wasn't, in terms of you knew it was safe, supportive, inclusive. What you heard about Ivey and Canada, you felt while you've been through the program.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like similar to Divya, like I feel on the safety aspect, I haven't felt like really unsafe. Of course, like similar to India, like if I'm like extremely late out in the night, then I would feel unsafe. But like that's like again across countries.
Of course.
I don't think I was even like very worried on like the safety aspect before even coming here. And again, like even Western, like they have the patrol system in the night if you're like late on the campus, right? So I think, from that angle, like no complaints for me at least.
That's good. Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that because I think that was part of the misperception was that being an Indian in Canada, if you're out, people are going to not show love for you, right? They're going to be upset. And it's like, I have not ever
It's
seen
quite
or
the
heard
opposite.
that. And so,
yeah.
okay. So that's reassuring then. Yeah. That's good to hear. So as you think about, you're done in a couple of months and thinking about if you were to do this experience again or looking to us if you were new and thinking about joining us, say, in 2026, and now knowing that things have, again, we're not still eye to eye, India and Canada politically in some areas. Yeah. What would you do anything differently? Would you do it the same? Do you have advice for those considering our program coming from India next year, some do's and do nots? Might be a nice way to sort of wrap up what your experience is and any advice for those tuning in specifically from India.
I think one thing which I would do differently would be research more and like talk to people more in the industries that I kind of want to go into.
Okay.
Because one thing, a new learning for me was like Canada, even though it's like multicultural, but like there are certain sectors which dominate this country. And it's similar to India. And it was just like my lack of research where I thought like, it's all spread across. So I would say like, if you like, let's say, want to get into consumer goods, talk to people in the consumer goods space, or if you want to get into healthcare, do that additional layer of research to get more understanding of like, the kind of skills you want to get, or you should possess to get into like the roles you're eyeing for after your MBA. So that is just an additional layer of research, I would.
Yeah. Okay. And that will help with your career research and success after the MBA.
Yes, because it also gives you a head start in terms of like the kind of electives you should be taking, or if you need to upskill yourself more, or even just understand like, if MBA is the right fit for you.
Right.
Just that additional pair of research.
Great advice.
No, I completely agree with Aakriti on this, but I feel like doing a lot of research because sometimes when you're in Ivey, you get new ideas. Like you think like probably I would be an investment banker. And then you realize, oh, maybe the sales and marketing is attractive for me. Like I should be going there. So what I would say is keep a career option in your mind. But when you're in Ivey, be open to ideas and like connect, like as Aakriti said, like connect with a lot of people. So you would have an idea that, hey, this is what it suits for me. And then you can pivot to that.
Okay. So if I hear you both and sort of summarize, and for the listeners, it's connect with alumni who've gone through the program who live in Canada to understand that it is safe, it is supportive, it is a culture, and learn more about the Ivey MBA experience specifically. And then come prepared for recruitment as see which industries dominate, what skill sets or needs that you're coming as best prepared as you can. As you've both heard, I'm sure often through the program, trust the process. We say that a lot around here. So there are, as much as to your point, you can research to a point.
Yeah.
And there's a point you have to relinquish control and know that things will come to you in due time.
Yeah.
But as much as you can prepare yourselves, I think you're setting yourselves up for more success. And I think also reducing the risk that you're choosing a country that might have the negative effects since you didn't do enough of those preliminary conversations.
Yes. And at the end, like you mentioned, like trust the process. I cannot reiterate how many times I've like told myself that. And also like at the end of the day, like it's it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right?
Yes.
So don't overburn yourself in the initial stages of the program itself, like in your research work, that when you come, you're exhausted. So take it slow, believe you did the right thing, and it'll all work.
And don't be hard on yourself, because there are times where you are really stressful, and then take it slow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of one-liners here at Ivey. I feel like there should be a top 10 list of the one-liners, the taglines, but this was very informative and very helpful, and for me, reassuring, because I do work with a lot of applicants from Central Asia, from India, from Pakistan, Bangladesh, and it is important to make sure that there is some reassurance that what we're sharing to them to encourage them to come to Canada, that you, as those from India specifically, feel that that is still a good investment. It is a safe investment, a sound one. So thank you for your thoughts today. And to our listeners and watchers, thanks for tuning in. We hope you found today helpful as you navigate the MBA decision and still look at Canada as a viable option for your MBA. Thanks for watching today. If you'd like to engage with us further and you've not yet submitted your resume assessment, that would be a great next step. Simply visit our website, upload your resume or LinkedIn profile, and one of us will get in touch with you to discuss your candidacy for a full-time 1-year MBA program. Thanks again for watching.